Hi and welcome to YogaBerry, your yoga for scoliosis community. My name is Christine Jareggi-Berry. I'm a yoga teacher and I specialize in yoga for scoliosis. And today I've got a practice for you which is specifically for the lower back. So if you're suffering from lower backache, then this practice is for you. All that you need for the practice today is a chair and your yoga mat, of course. So get everything ready and then meet me on the mat. Good, so we're going to start the practice in a constructive resting position with the lower legs onto the chair or by the sofa or wherever you're practicing. So I'm going to lie on my back, resting the lower legs onto the chair. And this really helps to release the lower back. It helps to release the hip flexors here at the front of the body, which have to work really hard. So we're going to stay in the pose for a few breaths, just settling here. Inhaling and exhaling, just allowing for the back to drop into the ground a little bit more. Noticing how you feel today, so whatever activities you've been doing during the day, just letting go of all of that now. Committing to the practice to look after your health and well-being. Just observing the breath. So you might notice if there's a little bit more breath awareness into one side of the body or the other. So just really closing your eyes and bring that awareness inwards. If there's one side that seems to be getting a little bit more breath than the other, see if you can redirect your breath consciously into that side that needs it. Imagine the rib cage, the ribs on that side spreading a little bit more. And then let's bring the awareness back into the physical body. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Just rocking from side to side a few times. And then we're just going to get rid of the chair. So if you need to bring yourself up, then roll yourself over to the side. Just push this chair away so it's not on your yoga mat. And then drawing both knees in towards you, just rocking from side to side. Good, we're going to keep the left knee in and extending the right leg out on the ground, pushing through the right heel. So let's do this in an engaged way. So I'm flexing my right foot, draw the toes towards you, lengthening through the back of the leg. Bring the right knee in towards you, extending the left leg out on the ground. So same thing here, extending, really extending through that left leg. Lengthening, using the hands to draw the right knee in towards you. Good, and let's change legs again. Left leg in, right leg out. Good, and then one more time, change legs. Extending the left leg out on the ground. Good, and then bringing both knees in towards you, rocking from side to side, and then we're going to start to create some circles. So keeping the knees together, we're circling the legs around one way, kind of massaging the lower back, and then circling the other way around. Good, really, really nice pose to release the back. Good, and then from there, let's bring the feet flat to the ground. And we're going to start to engage through the core muscles a little bit more. So drawing up from the pelvic floor, imagine the hip bones moving closer together, drawing the navel back to the spine. So we're engaging all this kind of center here of the body. Keeping the pelvis really nice and stable, slowly bring your right leg up towards the ceiling, flexing the foot, opening through the back leg. So don't worry if your leg doesn't straighten here, it might just be here with the knee slightly bent. Just keep the pelvis in a stable position, so don't let it round, so don't start to round into the lower back. And then from there, on your next exhale, we're slowly lowering the right leg down to the ground, pushing through the right heel. Inhale to lift the leg back up. Exhale to slowly lower it down. Keeping the pelvis nice and stable, keeping the pelvic floor engaged. One more time, inhale, and then exhale, slowly lowering the leg. Good, let's change sides. So right foot flat on the ground, left leg up towards the ceiling, flexing through the foot. On your exhale, slowly extending through the leg, lowering the straight leg down to the ground. Inhale to bring it back up. Exhale, slowly lowering it down. Good, one more time. Inhale to bring the leg up. And exhale, slowly lowering it down. Good, releasing the feet, bring the feet hip distance apart. And then we're just going to move the knees from side to side, so like a windscreen wiper. It might be just a very small movement, especially if you have any spinal fusion. It might just be a little movement, or if your spine is not fused, then you can take it into a bigger movement, maybe allowing for the knees to drop over to the side a little bit more. Just see what feels good. Rule number 1 in yoga for scoliosis, we never push through pain. So anything that is painful is a signal from the body that maybe this isn't right for you at this moment. It might just be less of the pose. It doesn't necessarily mean the pose is for you. The pose is not for you. It just means that we need to modify. Good, and then let's roll over to the side, and then slowly bringing yourself up into sitting. Good, so let's come into all fours for a moment. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. And we'll just do a little bit of cat-cow here. So some of you with spinal fusion, obviously you won't be able to do the full cat-cow where you're really rounding through the spine. Inhaling, lifting the chest. So this is not going to happen for you. So you might just be rocking the hips forwards and backwards. So in this case, take the hands a little bit further forward and just rocking back and forth. If you don't have a fused spine, then go ahead with the lovely cat-cow stretches, really rounding and arching through the back. Moving with your breath. Good. Last one. And then let's release into child's pose from here. So taking the hips all the way back, stretch through the arms. So we're going to extend the arms forwards today. Just for a couple of breaths. And then from there, slowly bringing yourself up. We're going to come up into standing. So your choice, you can either step forward and then roll yourself up into standing. Obviously with spinal fusion, that's not going to be possible for you, or if you have any bulging discs, any disc issues, then do bend your knees deeply, bring the hips down first, moving the chest forwards, arms out to the sides. Inhale, reaching up through the arms, lengthening, and then exhale to draw the hands down the midline. Good, releasing the arms, we're coming into mountain pose. So spreading the toes a little bit more, lifting through the inner arches of the feet. Engage through the legs, engaging through the core, just about 10%. drawing the navel back to the spine, lifting up through the crown of the head. If you want to grow a little bit taller. Good. Just noticing the weight into the feet, your contact with the ground. If someone wants to push you over right now, they won't be able to do it. Standing strong, standing tall like a mountain. Good. So from there, let's come into Warrior One. So the different variation here. So we're going to step the right foot back. Come, also wobbling here a little bit, but come up onto the toes of your right foot. So your heel is off the ground. And so traditionally we have the foot down, but for this one we have the heels off the ground. Bend your knees, just tilting the pelvis forwards and backwards a few times. Finding that neutral position. And then bend your front knee a little bit more, so just so the knee is directly over the ankle. Stabilizing from here, so draw the navel back to the spine, lifting the belly, the lower belly up and in, lifting up through the crown of the head, and then keeping that stability, maybe extending the right leg a little bit more, but noticing that nothing in my lower back hopefully has changed, so I still have the same amount of curvature. If you have a fused spine, bend your knee a little bit more so you don't arch too much into the lower back. Lifting up through the chest. And then maybe taking the arms up over the head. Lengthening here. If you're finding yourself stable, then you could maybe look up towards the ceiling. It's quite tricky to balance here. So the legs have to work really hard. The glutes are working. The core is working. Everything that we need to stabilize the lower back. Let's release. And then bring the hands to the waist to change sides. Right foot is forward, left foot is back. So this pose really shows you any imbalances as well in the psoas muscle. So just pay attention to your second side if you feel that there's a difference to the first side. So let's tilt the pelvis forwards and back a few times. And then again, setting yourself up, so knee directly over the ankle. Stabilizing, lifting up through the pelvic floor, drawing the belly, lower belly in and up, rib cage in. So I'm kind of going through this checklist, starting from the bottom, working my way up. And then maybe think about extending the left leg, only if you don't have spinal fusion, a little bit more, just getting that stretch into that front hip flexor. Notice if that's different to the first side. Take the arms up over the head, maybe lifting the chest and looking up towards the ceiling. Good, let's take one more breath here. And then let's release, releasing the arms, coming back to a neutral position, coming into chair pose. So feet hip distance apart. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees. So I'm taking my hips back slightly so I can still see my toes when I'm looking down. And the knees are moving into the direction of the second toes. Lifting up through the chest. Good. Inhale, coming all the way up. Lengthening. And exhale, release the arms. Good. We're going to come back down to the floor when you're ready. So bringing yourself down into sitting. Swing the legs around. And then come to lying down on your back. Bringing the knees in towards you. And your choice for a twist, either arms out to the sides, knees in towards you, dropping the knees over to one side. If you know that twisting doesn't feel good in your body so much, come back to those windscreen wiper movements. So feet flat on the ground, just moving the knees from side to side. If twisting is your thing, if you enjoy that, then bring the knees in towards you, just dropping the knees all the way over to the side. Not for spinal fusion, but you will probably know that this is not right for you. However, for unfused spine, this can feel really good to de-rotate the spine, releasing all those tiny little muscles along the back. Come back to center and then drop the knees all the way over to the other side. Releasing the shoulders into the ground. And then coming back to center, setting yourself up for Shavasana. So let's extend the legs, just allowing for the whole body to drop into the floor now. If your lower back still isn't feeling quite happy, maybe support the backs of the knees or bend the knees and allow for the knees to drop into each other. Just see what feels right for you. Close your eyes. Just letting go of any remaining tension in the body. Settling into your breath. Allowing for the shoulders to release. Nothing to do for the next few moments other than breathe. And even that, your body knows exactly what to do, so you don't have to get involved, you don't have to control, you don't have to decide. Your body is very capable of doing that. Just knowing that all answers are inside you already. It's just for us to pay attention, to listen. Good, and then slowly start to bring a little bit of movement into the hands, into the feet. Slowly start to bend your knees. And then rolling yourself over to the side, support yourself with your hands to slowly bring yourself up into sitting. Good, so I really hope that you enjoyed this practice for the lower back. Do let me know in the comments if you did. If you have any questions, give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And I will see you very soon for the next video.